Thanks for answering that. Sorry, I don't have so many questions. So I have one more.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, not one more. I have one. Um, what I've always thought about, like in religion in general, not just Islam, it seems like everything written in stuff like Bible, Quran, it seems like something that the human mind can comprehend. It doesn't seem like for a God that's created like the whole universe, and we all know that things are heavily like science based, like particles and stuff,
Mm.
and how things are. Why is there nothing like scientific about that? It's just something that's just everything in there is something that humans can comprehend. There's nothing out of this world in there.
Well, that's a very interesting question because the people's levels of understanding are different. I can give an example to someone and he doesn't understand it, even though it's a simple example. And I can give a very sophisticated example to someone else and he can understand it. The thing is, the Quran is for the understanding and comprehension of everything. And we do not say that when the Quran talks about the natural world, there's nothing there is amazing. There is many things that are amazing. For instance, the Quran talking about the sun and the moon, or having an orbit, etc. The sun having an orbit. If the Quran talks about the sun having an orbit, this is not a knowledge that we knew. This is the knowledge that we knew recently, in the last 100 years. But the Quran, 1,400 years ago, already talks about that. The Quran, for instance, talks about embryology and the development of the baby in the mother's womb, giving you the stages of that development. The Quran talks about the earth, how the shape of the earth before we had satellites and we were able to see how the shape looks like of the earth. The Quran talks about multitude of different things to do with the universe, to do with the earth. For example, the Quran talks about mountains, how they have deep roots within the earth and how the mountains help the stabilization of earth, meaning you do not have earthquakes, many earthquakes. You have less earthquakes due to the fact of these mountains helping the stabilization of the earth. And this is something called isostasy that we learned about in the 1900s. So the Quran does have a lot of these mind-blowing information, but the people of knowledge will know them. People of not who are not people of knowledge and wisdom, they're not going to know them, but people of knowledge will know them and they will highlight them to you, and then they'll give you examples and explain to you why no, actually the Quran is miraculous in many many ways and has all of these mind-blowing information. Like when you look at the cloud, is the cloud heavy or light?
The
If you had
cloud
to guess,
heavy or light?
yeah, if you look
I
at it
would
in the sky flying, what would you what would you assume?
I would guess that is light because it seems like it's made of
Yeah,
like gases and stuff.
yeah. So, but the clouds weigh tons because of the water. Today, we know that these clouds are actually weigh tons. And we can imagine things that weigh tons that fly because we see airplanes and they weigh tons and they are in the air. So these are all recent things. The Quran describes clouds to be heavy. Allah says in the Quran, وَيُنْشِئُ السَّحَابَ الثِّقَالَ, and He fashions the heavy clouds. Now, if you're a desert Bedouin Arab, you're not going to know this. You're not going to, you look at the clouds as just flying. You're not going to think, if today you're not thinking about it, imagine the Bedouin Arabs are not going to think about it. But this information is mind-blowing information that here we are learning and realizing due to the Quran, the fact that it's from God. So God is telling us this information, but Allah is saying it in a simple way. And
Yeah.
today we're understanding it more and more and more.
Thank you.
No problem. You have any other questions?